Hey everyone, welcome in. Welcome to another episode of Don't Quit Your Day Job. On today's episode, we have really good conversation. Think girl talk, but career talk all at the same time. I've been great. I haven't seen you guys in a few weeks, but I have a lot going on right now. So just to tell you about myself, as you guys know, my name is Charity of Charity in Motion here on YouTube. This page focuses on a day in the life of me as a traveling trainer for my company, but not my company, but the company I work for. But outside of that, I am a filmmaker. So I'm balancing two careers at once. So in the blogs, you'll see some of me traveling for work, but then in some episodes, you'll also see me just preparing for film jobs. And the past couple of weeks, I've been really just cranking out pre-production for my film Spice It Up that we'll be shooting on April 19th. So wish me luck, guys. It's been a while. But I wrote and I will be directing it. And I wrote this film about 3 years ago. We've been in pre-production for 2 years. So it has to be good. But as you know, travel for my job has been a lot too. So I've been balancing traveling for work, also balancing the humdrum like day in the life, but also planning a film. So I'm wearing a lot of hats right now. So I welcome you guys in. How are you guys doing? Please let us know where you're coming from today. I would love to see where all my viewers are coming from so that we can interact and have a really, really good time. So without further ado, I want to introduce Michalea Carter. Hey, Trisha, how you doing? My McKinley Tech sister. Yeah, so I have Michalea Carter here, one of my friends here from Atlanta. Well, she's not from Atlanta. I remember she's from Waynesboro, Georgia. And I always thought that was really cool because my mom is from Waynesboro, Virginia. So I always remembered that. I always remembered that. But we're just going to chop it up. She's going to tell us about her life as an author, as well as what she does for her 9 to 5, how she balances. Welcome in. We have a growing crowd today. It's so good to see you guys on this early Friday. And we're not going to hold you up because I know it's nice outside. Where y'all tuning in from? Welcome, welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Michalea to the stage and we'll get started.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Your mom is in the room with us. Hi.
Hey.
Thank you guys for joining. This is going to be a great conversation. But how are you doing today?
Girl, busy, tired, but I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, me too, because we could be in bed, we could be resting, we can be preparing for whatever our next task is, but we're here. We're going to have this good conversation today. So before we get started, tell everyone about yourself.
Yes, well, as you mentioned, I'm Michalea Carter, and as the little scrolly banner says, I am an author. I have two children's books. One is called Peyton's Little Prayers, and then the other one is Peyton Finds Your Voice, Her Voice. Um, are all based off of a little girl named Peyton. She is loosely based off of me as a child, but the purpose is to just pretty much just spread the faith through children's books, just showing how you can pray at a young age, you can learn about God at a young age, even through hymns, through singing, through praying, through time with your mom, because my mom was actually featured in my first book. So just sweet family time and faith. And then I also have a book called In Raw Form. It's a 15-day devotional that I wrote for women who just need to get back to their core with God. So talking about self-care, self-love, all the things. Outside of that, I have my own women's community. It's called RAWCove. RAWCove stands for Restoring Ambitious Women. And the cove piece comes from the fact that I want people to feel like they're on a peaceful cove with God when they commune with us. And so in the past, we've done events, we've had Bible studies. We're now pivoting to a different space. So we'll see what God does in that area. But that is my women's ministry, baby. And then my 9 to 5, I work for the U.S. Soccer Federation as an internal communications and digital platforms manager. Is the longest title ever. So I get tongue.
Yes.
But it's pretty much communications and marketing on the staff side of things. So a lot going on, but all good things. I just love being creative, writing, and just doing things that help me keep my faith, spread the faith, and all the things I love.
I love that. So you sound just as busy as me. You have a very serious but fun job, but then on the other side, you're tapping into your passion while helping others at the same time.
Yes.
I think that is
I'm trying to.
great. Yes, I think too for women in our age group, like we're millennials. I don't know if we're senior millennials yet. We're like mid-tier millennials, but we were the last to have the real childhood. I'll say that. But
Yeah.
but I will say, with us, I find that a lot of people, we went to college, we did the college thing, we graduated, we followed what society said it is you're supposed to do after college,
Mhm.
but you have to find that passion within work, but also what is your passion outside of work? What makes you multifaceted? What makes you you? So I love that you found something that fills your spirit while also filling other people's spirit. So that is good
Yeah,
to hear. I think people are going to enjoy this episode because we're always searching for duality and what makes us us. Because your job isn't what makes you you; it's what you bring to that job.
absolutely. And I
Yes.
chance to do what they love for their 9 to 5 as well as their 5 to 9. So it's
Mhm.
true to do both.
Yes, I love it. But before we get deeper into the conversation, I like to ask my guests,
Okay.
what is your theme song? What gets you going? What is that song when you're just pushing through?
Mhm.
Even if it's not pushing through, what do you do to uplift yourself? What all your phases? What is your theme song in life?
That's a good question. Um, I would say the song that comes to mind is I'm Coming Out. I want the world to know, gotta let it show. And I think that came to me a few years ago because I was finding myself like in the shell, just kind of scared of showing my light and being myself. And I just had to remind myself, like, girl, you gotta come out of this. Like, you gotta
Mhm.
let the world know who you are, who God has called you to be. And I think God just laid that song on my heart. And ever since then, when I get into these modes of like isolation or just kind of feeling down on myself, like I'll just start singing, I'm coming out, I'm coming out, I'm coming out. And I just keep saying it over and over again. And then it's just a fun song. Like it makes you want to get ready, like go get you. So that's kind of the mood that I desire to be in. I've been in quite a season recently, so I need to play that song and actually come up out the season. So
Yes, as soon as we get
yeah.
off, blast it, put it on your story, let everybody know that I'm here. I'm here to stay. You're not.
Yeah.
I think like I don't feel like I have a theme song. I feel like every week is something different. I don't think I have a theme song just overall. This week, oh gosh, I was just singing it earlier. Anita Baker. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, it's
Bum,
that song.
bum, with all my heart.
Yeah, that's my song.
I think right now I am doing something in my passion. So right now it's with all my heart. I have
Oh,
to make this baby work
yeah.
because with the film Spice It Up, I really wanted to be my coming out moment with film. I've directed projects in the past, but this is the first time since grad school that it's something I've written. So
Mhm.
for me, it's like this is letting everyone see where I am as a storyteller now at the age of 35 versus 20. Wow, I did my thesis when I was 24, 25. So that
Uh,
10-year difference of my style of directing and my vision, I think then I was just like, I got to do this project to get out of school. But I really love the story, and I felt like I want to redo that movie. Actually, it was called Pretty Brown Brown. I felt like I was not pushing to the limits with certain parts of it. Where with this film, I'm like, anything to tell the story to be as big and bold and out there to really show who I am is where I want to be. So I think
yeah,
those two songs combined is like with all my heart, whatever you're doing, you gotta put your whole heart and soul into it. But you coming out and you want the world to
yeah.
know, you gotta let it show. So I like to start off with that question because I think it's gonna be
Mhm.
as you tell your story is a running theme because I think a lot of times when we're starting out in anything that we do, you get out of school, you need 20 years of experience. And it's like, well, how can I show y'all what I can do? So what was your kind of turning point? Like, when did you start in your career, and kind of what was your turning point to say, I need to do other things?
So my turning point actually happened while I was still in college, when I first decided that I wanted to pursue a career that was journalism facing. Because growing up, I always used to say to myself that I wanted to be Barbie growing up. And the reason why I would say that is because, when you change Barbie's clothes, she becomes a different career person.
Yep.
And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm just like, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a doctor. I just want to do all these things. So let me just be Barbie and just change and all the
Right.
things. But I think it was coming from a place of just like God putting so many different types of like gifts and talents within me, and I didn't know how to fully balance it. So
Mhm.
when I first at Georgia State University, I came in as a sports medicine major. I think that's what it was called, sports medicine or kinesiology, whatever it was. It lasted.
It's probably like a kinesiology type thing, because I think they
Yeah.
do everything in one.
Yeah. I did that for a year, thinking that I wanted to get into sports, working as a physical therapist. And then I started watching Scandal, and I was like, you know what? People tell me all my life I argue like a lawyer. Like my mom would say that to me. And so, well, let's do political science with a pre-law track. And it just got to a point where I was like, I'm not happy doing either of these things. Like, I just really need to follow my dreams of getting into something that's dealing with creativity, writing. All the organizations that I was a part of, I was like vice president of the PR, doing like PR committees, like something PR marketing facing in the different committees that I was sitting on, and even writing for different magazines, like online magazines during that time.
Mhm.
So everything that I'm doing outside of the coursework is geared towards writing, marketing, branding, creativity. But in school, I'm not doing that. So that's when I decided to change my major to journalism with a PR focus. And I got some side eye when I did that because, the people at the church are just like, well, you ain't gonna make no money doing that. And
They don't see the vision.
they didn't see the vision. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. At one point, I wanted to be a news reporter. Another point, I thought I was going to move to New York and work for magazines and work my way up to become an editor in chief because I was editor in chief at my high school's yearbook staff. And so I just was kind of all over the place. And then I think at one point I was interning for a DJ because I wanted to go into PR in the music industry. Like I was just doing a little bit of everything, just trying to find my way.
And agreeing and seeing.
But I'm thankful for it because I got so many different types of experiences. So at the time, it seemed like I was lost trying to find my way, but it actually gave so many different types of experiences that allowed me to hone in on so many different types of skills
Mhm.
that I've been able to just add to my resume and just tell people like, hey, I could do this, I could do that, like graphic design, I could do that, I can work in different industries because I have the music industry side of things, I have the sports side of things, I have government, transportation, and higher education, all these things at such a young age. So what looked like a mess in the past, I now see was God just giving me all the just
All
a
the
million.
pieces. Yeah.
But like the major turning point was probably when I went back to school for marketing. And I was able to land an internship with the State Road and Tollway Authority. It wasn't my dream internship because again, I'm still thinking New York magazines, not Peach Pass lanes, express buses. Back in Atlanta, sleeping on my friend's couch, and I needed a job. I was in
Yeah.
school. I needed some money. Um, so I did that, and it opened my doors to the communications world. And
Mhm.
that's like, I can actually have a career where I'm writing and I'm writing for companies, I'm strategizing, I'm doing communication strategy. I'm just mixing all the different things. I'm doing graphics, I'm doing social media, just like all the things that I have been learning over the years, a little PR with like press releases and working with media and all of this just in one job. And
Mhm.
that's what got me into like the communication side of things. And so from there, I did decide like, I really wanted to still have something to do with the sports industry. And so I would network. Um, and got a job with a basketball team. And then that kind of turned me on to the sports entertainment side of things. And I went back to higher education because I did get a job in higher education. Went back for a better opportunity, but then now I'm back in sports and entertainment, which is what I wanted to do. So just looking back over my life, I'm like, and I say my life like I'm like 50, 60 years old, but
You've done a lot. Like, and I think
yeah,
age doesn't, credit that it's not been a long life because you've done a lot
yeah,
in this moment. And this is
yeah,
that the first part of your journey, like we just, like you said, all of the different scrambled pieces is what's going to bring you that full circle moment down the line. Like I think about now, everybody does the Legos and you get all them different pieces.
yeah,
You got to section it off like, okay, this is for this part. Then after I do this part, I can do this part. After I do this
yeah.
part, I can do this part. Then it comes together to that complete picture. So I think that's what's going on right now. So you first was like college laying out the pieces,
Mm-hmm.
started putting the first section together, and you went to a different industry. Now you're back. And now this it's starting to come together.
It's come together, and I'm just thankful for it. So yeah, I don't know if I've had like one moment that was just like that big moment, but I've probably just had like several turning points where it's like, okay, let's
Mhm.
pivot, let's pivot there, and it'll all make sense at the end. So I guess like that, if I had to encourage anybody, it's just like it may not make sense in the beginning,
Mhm.
promise you, like it's just like you said, it's Lego pieces. It's funny you even said that because I remember just telling somebody that I feel like my life looks like a puzzle. Like when you first dump out the pieces, you're just like, this is a mess. I don't even want to do this. But
Overwhelming.
together, it's really a beautiful picture and it really makes a lot of sense. So that's kind of where I'm at with it right now.
I love it. And in my lane is totally different. My 9 to 5, I work as a corporate EMR trainer. I never did any classes with anything health informatics, I think is the major. And I think they had that at your school because a lot of people at my old company went to Georgia State. Um,
Yes.
Shout out to Taylor. It's like because I know that was
Hey,
her.
Ted.
Yeah, health informatics. I didn't know that was a thing that existed. Kinesiology. My school just got that. Shout out to Wilberforce Don Dance Weekend. I wish I was there with y'all. But um, yeah, like I didn't know that was a thing. Or you see people always traveling for work. And it's like, well, how did they get that job? What is that called? And I had a good friend of mine from school, like, girl, come to my company. And I was fresh to Atlanta, maybe 2 years here, working retail, had a master's degree in film, not using it yet. And she was like, it's easy. We just, help clients with the system. And I'm like, what's the system? She was like, when you go to the doctor and they put your information in that. I'm like, oh, okay, I could do that. It was a call center. And I'm like, sign up for this, but it was cool. It was a cool company. They had the little wine and beer card, all of those things. And a lot of my like close friends from that first job is now like we locked in for real. And long story short, I pursued that, but I never forgot film. So even if I had to put PTO in, even now, if I have to put PTO in, I make sure that I'm constantly doing both. And I think is that balance that you have to have. So, what inspired you with your busy career and with your very not I wouldn't say it is complex because you have to have those people skills while also having the knowledge to bring everybody together and make the communication make sense overall. So what led you because you started RAWCove first before the book, right?
So I actually wrote my first book when I was in college. It didn't get published until 2023, so I think that was like after I started RAWCove. Yeah.
Okay. So what made you, I'll just ask, what made you write the book in college and then what led you to start I'll say your community that you created?
Yeah. God for both of them. Because honestly, so I always knew that I wanted to write in some shape, form, or fashion. I always knew that I wanted to become a published author because I actually started writing a book, and this is I think my mom kind of remembers this story, and my nana may be online too, but that I was writing was in sixth grade. And this is how they discovered that I actually could write really well, because my homeroom teacher found this book. And in the book, it was like in this binder I was writing on like notebook paper or whatever. There
Uh-huh.
was grown themes in the book. It wasn't like too inappropriate. It was just like
Right.
somewhere. It was just like a lot of drama because I used to watch Young and the Restless with my grandma and all that. But even I got in trouble technically, but I think my mom was just like, she really could write though. Like even though she's getting in trouble, like this is actually good. So
Yeah.
I was a little bit ahead of my time. And that moment just kind of it discouraged me a little bit because I was like, dang, like now I'm in trouble. So I threw that book away. But there
Mhm.
was still something inside of me that said, like, one day I am going to be a published author. Now I'm writing for children, so it's a little bit more appropriate.
Yeah. Had to tailor it in.
Yes. But I just think when I was in college, I just realized like I do have a passion for like mentorship and working with youth because I was in the college ministry at my church and we did a lot of work with youth. And I did some other programs like through college organizations and things like that. And so I wanted to do something to kind of pour back into the youth. So I wrote a story that God laid on my heart, and I tried for many years to self-publish and research how like the best practices for self-publishing. I even had like an illustrator at one point. It never panned out. And so it was just God's timing that it happened to just get published in 2023 when I got connected to an indie publisher here in Atlanta.
Mhm.
Um, and with RAWCove was actually birthed out of a very like dark place. I was in the midst of like a really bad depression. And I don't know that it was something I said I wanted to do. It was just like God gave me this idea one night when I was just sitting on my couch, just very low. And so I just started doing things like when I get an idea, my first mind goes to, like marketing.
Yeah.
So not even like the purpose of it. I'm just like, okay, what's the name of it? Got the name. How the logo gonna look? Like, what's the colors? Let's put the brand guide together. I did all of that. And I was gonna start it prematurely, but then I remember I had like a really bad anxiety attack at work that around that time to the point where like it affected my body so I couldn't like physically even do anything.
Yeah.
Um, and so the event that I was gonna have, I had to keep pushing it back. And so I just felt like God was telling me in that moment, like, you're trying to start something cute based off of what I gave you, but this is not what I'm calling you to. Like, I'm calling you to something deeper. So he sat me down for like a few months, and then I finally was able to like put it out, like maybe I want to say February of 2023. And still in my mind, I was just thinking it was going to be just like a nice community for women to like just bond and get closer to God. I didn't fully realize like the weight of it because I didn't
Mhm.
see ministry. I just saw it as like an organization. Uh,
Yeah.
so that was a little bit shocking for me. But I will say, I just think God gave me what I needed at the time, which was community. And He also gave other women what they needed, which was community. I didn't realize that that was such a lack.
Mhm.
In our population of women.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of what I have done in my life is not something that I was just like, oh my gosh, like I just need to do this, but it was more something that God laid on my heart. And I was like, okay, well, I will give you my yes and move forward with this.
Mhm. He placed it on your heart, and it was like, if you don't, it's not saying if you don't move forward, you won't see, but you had to. It probably was lingering. Like you're like, oh, I'll
Yeah,
do it another time, and it just kept coming up. Or the next time you met a new person, oh, I wish I could really get back into my word and things like that. It just led you
yeah,
to just say, I have to do it. So I really appreciate that. I think our generation, we lack a lot of community efforts outside of like maybe what you did in college and things like that. Once you're into the world, is like, okay, so how do I connect with other people? How do I make friends as an adult? Like you see that theme a lot in social media. So I think that's what a lot of the women that joined appreciated about it the most. What are
yeah.
some of the things that you do to bring them together?
Yeah, so some of the things we've done in the past, we used to have like picnics that I would call Sunset Sunday. So on Sundays, we would come together and have like little activities and eat some cute little refreshments. And then we used to have Bible studies a few times a month. We'd have like bonding events. I think we've gone to like an Atlanta United game before. We've hung out even on the side, just going to brunch together. And we have a group chat that has like I think like over 100 ladies in there. So we would just communicate.
Amazing.
And since we have been a thing, I've just seen different pockets of girls just developing friendships and like hanging out. And I'll see them posting on social media, going to brunch together and everything. So RAWCove was like branched out into other things. And even though now we have been on a bit of a sabbatical while, God just kind of shows me like how he wants us to pivot,
Mhm.
still see other women just hanging out together and like doing life together. Like I've seen women who didn't know each other prior now going to each other's baby showers and weddings and just all these things. I'm like, they literally just met 2 years ago when we first started. I remember watching these women meet each other. So it's just been a beautiful thing to just see them continue to foster those relationships. So I'm very, very hopeful that we'll be able to get back to some type of meetups or some type of, I feel like God is calling us to go more into like the wellness space.
Mhm.
Um, Providing like Christ-centered wellness experiences for women. And so I just really pray that he can bring us back together because I am missing my girls and I love seeing them. I love seeing the bonds, even virtually. There's a lot of women that have joined who I've never seen in person because they're in different states and they found us on TikTok or some women that I still DM here and there, and they're just like from another state. Even some women, I had one in like Africa that I would talk to every now and then. So we're blessed to reach a large audience, and so I want to continue to keep that going.
And it's one of those things like hearing that because I remember seeing when you the early times of you posting, and I was like, this is such a good thing. Like the way my life is set up, I'm like, dang, I really need to go. But then I'm always so much over all over the place. But what I love is it was a thought, you put it to the side, and God nagged you to do it. When you finally did step out on faith and literally started, it grew probably bigger than you ever imagined. And the
Yeah.
fact that it's state to state almost and international, does this lead you to want to make individual chapters throughout these different places or keep it just local? And I know that would be a lot, especially with
Yeah.
I haven't even asked like how do you balance it, but I know that would be a lot. Do you think that new direction maybe making it a um incorporated, or I mean that might be going too deep into the business, but like an incorporated organization where you can branch out into different states and really grow it? Because I think this is something positive that you see. Like I see in Atlanta, we have something called Girls, GRLS, for women to come together
Yeah.
and things like that. And they have Dallas, Houston, different neighborhoods throughout Atlanta. I can see that with RAWCove, but more on the Christian side of things, and bring it. We need it. Like we're stressed.
Yeah.
We're doing 15 jobs. It would be a
Yeah.
great outlet. It would be a great outlet.
Honestly, and I think when I first started it, I had such a small mindset to where I was like, this could just be me and some girls just developing like a cute like friendship.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing it reach other women in different places, and I was like, oh, like we really could reach some women. And I got really excited, but then I got overwhelmed and I was like, okay, God, like,
Yeah.
and thankfully he did send me a team. So I do have an amazing team that has helped me with, events and just getting things out there. Um, and it has been prophesied that RAWCove is global. So I do know that God
Snap,
is,
snap, snaps.
and like I have been running from that because if I'm being completely transparent, I'm at a space now where spiritually, some days I don't want to even continue RAWCove because I don't think people understand the gravity of carrying this ministry. They see the events, they see the fun times, they see all the cute graphics and the social media posts and everything. And they'll come to the events and they're just like, oh, when's the next one? When's the next one? But what they don't see is how heavy you feel when you leave because the enemy knows to attack you because you are bringing God's women together. And
Mhm.
there have been plenty of times where I've just said, God, like, I don't even have to do this anymore. I could just literally do my 9 to 5 and chill. That's all I got to do. Like, you
It
can
is
have,
bigger than you now. It's almost like
yeah.
you, if you were to build a community and just say, hey guys, this is it,
Hmm.
it's a twofold. It would leave people probably feeling like, dang, she left us hanging. But at
Yeah.
the same time, you have to take care of yourself. And I understand wanting to go
Yeah.
into that wellness space because you hear a lot of stories where people don't have the outlet or positive outlets to
Mhm.
be themselves or tell what they are actually going through. And I think what I like about it, even though I know raw doesn't stand for raw, but it allows
Mhm.
people to come in and show their raw emotions and not put on the facade like we see a lot of people do on social media. Not calling anyone
Ex
out, but I literally had somebody today who was like, I love how you post. You just post what you're doing that day and that's it. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know what else to do. Like I can't fake I can't.
I And that's why I was like, I have to be honest. And that's always my goal was with the ministry is just being completely honest. Even when I was leading Bible studies, I always would tell the girls, like, I don't profess to know everything. I'm not coming at you as like someone who sat in seminary for 10, 15 years. This is me learning and growing with y'all and saying that I am still struggling with certain things. And even recently, like I was struggling with reading one of the stories in the Bible. I'm like, God, this doesn't even make sense to me. And so I always want to be completely transparent with women or even just on platforms like this about where I'm at because I feel like we need this. We need rawness. I don't know if rawness is a word, but
Like instead of transparency, but like it is transparency. We want
yeah.
not necessarily see through you, but I think really see the real. It's so everything is AI. Outside of AI,
Yeah.
people are trying to perceive themselves to be perfect, and we don't need all these perfect people. And I think that's what people miss
Mhm.
about church is everybody at church or everybody in those groups that are trying to be better. You coming together in this aspect to be better is because I'm not perfect. And
Exactly.
I really do appreciate you putting yourself out there to have other people come and commune with you, but also putting
Mhm.
themselves out there. And it kind of leads me to ask, how do you balance it all? Like you have you work with a sports team in marketing and what's the role again? Because you said it like five different words.
Internal communications and digital platforms manager.
So with that, it sounds like a lot. So how do you balance such a high profile position and also being the founder and leader of a group of people all trying to figure life out together?
Um, Honestly, because I just started this position in December.
Okay.
It's been a struggle balancing. I've literally had to sit some things down because people would just ask me, like, so when's the next book coming out? Like, have you written your next book? And I'm just like, I don't even have the mental
Mhm,
capacity now.
mhm,
People about RAWCove, and like, I was planning a retreat. Things got changed with that retreat. And I just really feel like that was God's way to me. Like, I just need you to sit some things down right now. So I think my best way of balancing things is knowing when God is telling me to sit down.
mhm.
So I know with my 9 to 5, I got to go to work because the bills got to get paid. This rent is high. I can't.
Atlanta is New York now. We
Um,
we are paying astronomical prices for
yeah,
basic.
the gas is $5 a gallon. We got to go to work. So I just feel like I'm in a space now where it's like until I get my footing with work, because where I'm working, we are doing a lot with World Cup. We have a new facility coming. This is all happening between like May, June, and July.
Mhm,
And I feel like with me still being new, just giving myself time to like get through these big projects, really get myself balanced, I can also take this time, like when I do have free time, to pour back into myself, to rest and not try to add anything additional to my plate. I may do an author event every now and then, like this weekend, I have some author events. But if there's a time for me to just not sign up for certain things, to learn how to say no, I'm just one person. Like I have struggled with canceling. I have struggled with saying no. I have struggled with setting boundaries with family, friends, all these things in the past, but I really had to be more serious about that because I realized, like, Michalea, you're just one person and you're running yourself into the ground trying to be everything for everyone. And even with RAWCove, like, it bothered me to have to get to the point where I had to take a sabbatical because I'm like, these women just seem excited and I'm excited too. And I don't want to like let anyone down.
but
I feel like
now,
I
yeah.
but I would be failing myself if I continue to pour from an empty cup. And when you're talking about ministry, you never want to do that because then you get resentful. And then we're talking about people's souls. Like, this is not something that you can play with.
Mhm.
So I think the best way that I'm learning how to balance right now, and it's something that I'm still working through, is
Yeah.
just knowing that there's a time and a season for everything. And this season right now is really for me, getting back to my relationship with God, learning how to balance this new job because, it's different. Like my last job didn't challenge me as much as this job has. This is what I prayed for. I prayed for a challenge. I prayed to be stretched, to learn new things, to grow. And so just learning how to walk through that without allowing myself to be overwhelmed. And even with the job, setting boundaries and saying when 5 o'clock hit, I'm done. Don't see me till 9 a.m. because that's my those my hours. Like lunches, like making sure that I am not overworking myself or allowing like that fast-paced sports culture to really like get to me because I've done that in the past at my previous job when I worked for an NBA team.
Mhm.
So still a work in progress. I will admit that it's been a struggle, like I said recently, but I am getting to a place where I do feel like I'm getting my footing and I'm getting more comfortable with saying, just because I'm pausing a project doesn't mean that I'm giving it up. Like I
Mm.
said, I don't want to do RAWCove. I know I'm called to do this. So
Yeah.
I'm just ready to see or waiting to see what the next season of it looks like and what God has for us in this next season. I'm not going to stop writing because that's something that God has not only charged me with doing, but it's like a passion of mine. It's something that I enjoy doing. When I see the little children holding my books and even just going to like my hometown and they'll say like, "Oh, my sister has this book." And I'm like, "That's crazy."
Wow. Probably grew up with the person telling you
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm not gonna stop doing these things, but I just have to realize like I don't have to do everything right now. And then I have to give up my timeline because I'm always like, well, I gotta get it by this time. And it's like, Michaela, you're only 31. Like, girl, chill. It's okay.
And that timeline thing, I think we have to find a way. Like we know time is of the
Yes.
essence. But we do know that timeliness matters with certain goals. Like, okay, this year I want to accomplish this because by the next year I want to start planning the next thing. But we
Yeah.
have to learn how to not beat ourselves up when we don't have that goal. Like
Yeah.
with my 5 to 9, that is what I got my degrees in, is should be what I'm focused on. But I understand that right now might not be my time to just throw away what I have going on my 9 to 5 to focus. But while you're still putting in the work, people are still going to see that work you're putting in. And you don't know who's watching. And I think that's the biggest thing. Even if you're not actively doing RAWCove right now, how you're pursuing your day to day, how you're moving, how you're communicating with friends is showing that no matter how active you are in that space, things are still moving. So I wouldn't look at it as like I'm quitting, because the way you live your life is enough for people to want to come in and say, what can I do to help you get back into it?
Yeah.
Slash, what can I help you take off your plate? And just all of those things. So I think overall, everything is going to, again, like those puzzle pieces, is going to rebuild itself to the point where you're going to have a well-oiled machine and you can do everything you need to do at your job plus. And then you never know, while you're planning these big events for this summer, it may be an opportunity for you to collaborate with your side business with your main job. That's always
Yeah.
a dream. Like I remember it's been a couple companies. I'm like, I'm not in marketing per se, but because I do film and video, like, hey, can I help with y'all social media? Like I've been turned down, but you never know, that may happen. Like anywhere I
Yeah.
go, people know what I do. They understand what I do. And I just joined like a new group at my job, the culture crew, that brings like the fun and celebrate birthdays. And I'm like, hey, have we ever thought about doing a podcast of some sort just to talk about what we have coming up or video highlights? And I was like, yeah, we might tap your shoulder on that. So putting yourself out
Yeah.
there with your talents may lend to your 9 to 5. And I think a lot of people miss that opportunity to actually bridge those gaps or meet other people and help their 9 to 5 do better. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm in full support of it, because I think you have to do multiple things. You have to stay busy. And they say the idle mind is the devil's playground. I really believe that, because when you're not busy, you have those crazy thoughts. But on the other side of it, you also have to occupy your rest.
Yeah.
And um, what is your outlet? Like, how do you handle your burnout? I know you said you took the sabbatical. Like, is writing how you handle your burnout? While also maybe writing for self without writing to publish. Like, we have ideas that's just for ourselves, that's like little tidbits in the background. Like, what is your burnout playlist or burnout workbook?
Yeah. So it did cut out a little bit, so I missed like the last part of the question.
Oh, sorry.
Can you say
I
it
was
again?
just saying, like, what is your ways of handling burnout and what's your like burnout playlist or workbook? Like, how do you work
Oh,
through those moments when you are like, but you
yeah,
have to do it?
yeah. So it's funny we've been talking about puzzles. I love doing puzzles. I feel like that just helps me like use a different side of my brain to kind of
Yeah.
read. So
Mhm.
things like that bring me peace. Even like little puzzles on my phone and stuff like that. Writing for
I love
fun.
them on my phone. Like, people are like, why are you playing these nerdy games? I'm like, they're fun. And then they give you that timer. I'm like,
Yes. Um, I do write for fun. So sometimes I try to write poetry. I haven't done that in a while, but I journal a lot. That helps me get out a lot of my feelings. And music is like my favorite thing ever. Like I love just listening to music. Like I'll sit and I literally have my headphones in like maybe 70% of the day because I'm listening to music, I'm listening to an audiobook. Um, I do love to read, like I love romance novels because I just feel like if I'm reading somebody else's story, I can dissociate from life for a bit and
that's how we
just
do with reality TV sometimes.
reality TV. As crazy as it sounds, that is like white noise to me. Like when I hear, like I go back and I watch like Real Housewives of Atlanta old
Yeah.
episodes, and
Yeah.
Jacqueline and Candy and all them arguing, it's just like zen to me. Like,
It's weird. Like, I function sometimes not in a whole lot of chaos, but some
mhm.
and helps you to say, okay, well, I'm doing good.
Yes.
I'm doing good.
Yeah. I'm like, if this is y'all 40s and 50s, I'm all right and I'm gonna be all right. So I enjoy that. And yeah, I think just having moments of quiet time, like I've really just curated a space in my apartment where it just feels peaceful at all times. And so I don't know, like if I wouldn't say I'm a homebody because sometimes I do like to be out. I love going to concerts and having fun. Um, but I enjoy just being here. I enjoy like having my spot on the couch and just
Mhm.
and like really decompressing and sometimes just not talking. Like that to me is just good. But I think just having like those intentional moments of rest, but making sure that you don't fall into isolation, making sure that you go out with your family, your friends, having that time. Because sometimes I can fall into isolation where I do forget that the outside world exists. But yeah, and my playlist just has all the things on it, like whatever I feel at that moment. It can go from gospel one day to like I found this bounce jazz station.
Those
Um,
are lovely. I love it.
yes, Ami piano, like just all any type of music. It's just whatever I'm feeling. So
Yeah, because like traditional African dance or a lot of the black dance
mhm,
that we do, it
yes.
involves a lot of leg and hips and backside. I
Mhm.
feel like because I literally sat on a 2.5 hour meeting, and I'm as soon as we're done, I have to head across town. And I find myself randomly, I have this big mirror in my living room. I find myself in front of the mirror, like biggity biggity bounce, like just
Mhm.
trying to shake it out. It's like one quick shake, I'm good. One quick wind
Yes.
plays, just a little something, just kind of just releases some type of endorphin, and I'm like, all right, let's
Yes.
tackle it. Like, I barely like coffee anymore, so I can't use that as
Mhm.
my push, but it definitely, you need to do it.
You
And
should
sometimes
go.
the playlist for me is I hit shuffle. We gonna go some DC go-go, we gonna hit a little gospel, we gonna hit a
Mhm.
little New Orleans, we might hear a little Caribbean, we might hear a little random rock song, but
Yeah.
it and I feel like when I hit shuffle, it plays on the mood, even if I don't say I want to hear X, Y, Z, it literally plays that mood. And I'm like,
Yeah.
kind of eerie when that happens. Like, dang, I needed these
It's
songs.
very eerie, but that happens to me too. And I'm just like, I don't know if my Apple Music algorithm just knows me now and knows will pick me up, or sometimes I just need a little smooth love song, whatever it is. Like, it got me.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but it definitely it gets you through. But before we wrap up soon, I have two more questions. What are
Okay.
some systems that you've developed? I know we talked a lot about the decompression, but what are some systems when pre-planning for the World Cup stuff that's coming? What are some of the systems that you've already put in place while still trying to relaunch or come back out with
Yeah.
books and RAWCove? What are the systems that makes it all make sense? And then secondly, after that, 2 to 3 clear points for people that want to still do both before they jump out there and just say bye bye.
Yeah. Um, so some systems, I just like to look ahead. I like to see the big picture of everything that I have going on, because sometimes there are some moments where I can't see the big picture and I just feel scrambled. Like, I'm not the type of person that could just do something like with no clear plan. And I know sometimes God works because he just wants us to trust him. But if I can plan ahead, I'm gonna plan ahead. So when it comes to like bigger projects like World Cup, for example, I know the dates that it's coming. So I know I need to go ahead and fill out my calendar. Like, I'm not just someone who can use my phone calendar. I need to put it in my phone. I need to write it in my agenda. I just like to look at everything to see like what's coming up, what are some things that I may possibly want to sign up for? Because, with author events and stuff, we know that they announce it ahead of time. So I'm like, do I have time to even apply to be a vendor here? Just, things like that. But one thing that I'm working on now is getting my self-care systems in place to make sure that I'm prepared for the craziness that's about to come. And also making sure that I'm staying ahead and on top of everything at work, because when other things come up, I don't want to still be lagging on previous projects.
Yeah.
So things that is causing me not to be a procrastinator, because that's something that could be a weakness for me. And so I'm really having to like come out of that, because now I'm like, things where I would have procrastinated on it, I'm just like, let's just go ahead and get it done so I can make sure that I have space in my day tomorrow for whatever comes. And I found that practicing that within the last 2 weeks, because this is a
Mm,
new thing, it has helped me have more room in my days,
yeah.
to not scrambling to do something that I put off from yesterday. So just using that whole tactic of like, just go ahead and do it has been helpful for me. And prioritizing fun. Like, I know that doesn't sound like a system, but I think that with fun and self-care, like those are as equally as important as it is to have systems in place for work. Because if you don't, like, I'm looking at events that are coming up to see like, what concerts do I want to go to? What fun things do I want to do? If there's like festivals, it's about to be hot outside and I want to be outside. So respectfully, so what can I do that doesn't drain me, that just, gives me life? Because I need vitamin D. I have a vitamin D deficiency. I need the sun. I feel like I call myself a sunflower because I'm like, when the sun is not out, I'm not
You
happy.
bloom.
Yes, like I just need to bloom. I need the sun. So yeah, I just feel like preparation as much as you can, because life happens, work happens, things pop up on your desk every day to where you can't control it. But as much as you have control over it, and also preparing yourself for the things that you can't control, because I think up when you say you're not going to prepare for the things that you can't control. Like
Mm,
when you're floating and dependent on only what you can see, I think irresponsible. You have to just have yourself mentally prepared that something could potentially go wrong or something could potentially come up that you would have to problem solve. So just getting myself into the mental space of like, okay, this is going to be a busy time, but let me make sure I have my ducks in a row before we even get there. And then what was your second question?
2 to 3 clear points or points that give to someone that may be thinking about pulling the trigger with quitting their 9 to 5 or staying. So I guess 2 to 3 determining factors on why you stay or why you just going to focus on one or the other?
Yeah, so honestly, because so I just feel like, what did the Lord say? Like,
Yes.
did some people be like, well, God told me to leave and I only have $5 to my name. And sometimes that works and sometimes that does not. And I feel like we just need to be wise in this season.
Mhm.
Um, my first point is definitely seek God for all decisions. Because at the end of the day, whether you're doing a 9 to 5, 5 to 9, God is your CEO and he's your board of directors, he is secretary, he is finance director, he is all of those things. So making sure that you pull him in and see like, okay, God, what is my next step? What would you have me to do? Because I feel that sometimes we can feel called to something, or there's even times where God is calling us to something, but it's not right now type of move. Like
Mhm.
you are going to leave that 9 to 5 because I truly believe that I'm not going to be in a 9 to 5 forever. But I also know with wisdom, he not telling me to leave next week because that's just not smart. And I'm not he couldn't cover me because we all know that, all things work together for the good of those who are called according to his purpose. But I do feel like we have to make wise decisions. So I don't know that I have 2 to 3 points per se. I would just say you really have to do this journey with God. And he will show you, when it's time. You will have peace about the decision. Even in the midst of chaos, there will still probably feel like an underlying peace where like, okay, things may not look like how I thought, or I made this decision and I still have bills due, but I'm not seeing the opportunities come through. But I know that God told me this. Like you will have a knowing. And I
Mhm.
feel you don't, or there's confusion, or just a lot of uncertainty, that may not be the time for you to move. So really just seek God, really know that this is what you're pursuing is something that you are passionate about, something that you have been called to do.
Mhm.
Uh, Even just asking yourself, like, how is this solving a problem for other people and how serving God's people through this business? Because I think a lot of times we do things just for selfish gain, like, oh, this could be my $1 million idea. And it can be. God can bring you so much wealth through all of this, but that should not be the determining factor of why you make a move. So I will say one point is to check your motive behind why you are doing this. Because if your motive is to only serve yourself, then you're not going to be successful, or you can be successful on earth, but not successful in the kingdom. And we always want to make sure that we're doing things for the kingdom as well. So I just feel like just checking your heart posture and making sure that the decision that you're making is a God-breathed decision and not something that you're making because you just hate your boss, because God may have you work under that boss to stretch you, because when you have a 5 to 9, you may not have a boss, but you're still going to have
You
issues.
need that discipline. You need that how to deal with difficult people because if you're starting a
Mhm,
business, to stretch yourself, to grow yourself, you're
mhm.
gonna have to navigate so many different personalities that
Exactly.
that corporate foundation will help. So I definitely agree with that. It's almost like when people are nowadays are like, I should never went to college, the debt. And I'm like, well, you kind of needed a not saying everybody, because some careers you may not need it, but that foundation helps you to just kind of understand how to pursue something for a long period of time and just
Mhm.
go out and work for it. So I
Yeah.
definitely agree with your points. You can't move without God telling you what foot to go first. So that
Yeah.
is great points for sure.
Yeah. And that goes for people who work for themselves and are considering getting a full-time role. It's like, are you just doing this based off of fear?
Mhm.
Or are you doing this because you do feel like God is calling you to do it? Like some people, they get a full-time role because they're just like, you know, fearful of not having the security, or just doubting, like, if God really called me to this. But if you know that God has called you to that, like, stay where you are. But just ultimately just asking God, like, what's next? I
Yeah.
feel that there is, no right or wrong thing to do. Like people who are entrepreneurs are great. People who aren't entrepreneurs are great. People who are entrepreneurs and work full time are great. Like your greatness is yours. So just making sure you're not comparing yourself to anyone, making sure you're not pocket watching, like somebody is making all this money doing this. So let me just leave my business to go work in corporate. Like that should not be your motive.
We don't know what they're doing to get the extra
You
money.
don't,
And
you
we
don't,
don't know the foundation story. You know, how
exit.
everybody's like, you see now, what was that struggle? Nobody that is a overnight success is an overnight success. It's
Exactly.
been a lot of work that's went into where they are now. So
Mhm.
definitely agree on that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So just knowing like it's not a rush to make a decision. And you have to make wise decisions, and God has to be the one to give you the okay in order for it to work. And knowing that there is grace for you if you did make a decision before him,
Yes.
before and okay, knowing
Because
that
he
if
knew you was gonna make that decision and you needed to learn from that.
he did. And
Yeah.
there's always going to be something to learn no matter what happens. So even if you did move before he said move, like he will stretch you, he will give you the lesson, and he will redeem you, and you
Mhm.
will be
Yes. Put
yes.
in the work also. That is the biggest
Yes.
part. Putting in the
Yes.
work, sticking to your goals,
Mm.
and to me, also having a community of people that's going to inspire you, feed you spiritually, mentally, and all of the different layers of life. So I definitely appreciate everything, Michaela. This was a great conversation. I
Yes.
think for this one, it was different than the ones I've had in the past. Our last one was with another author that does a lot of those books that focus on how to use your 9 to 5 as your investment to it. But I think
Mhm.
yours was more spiritually led. And I love that because it allows you to lean on your faith to do what you need to do. While
Yeah.
also, if maybe some people get into that mode of like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Or I'm discouraged so much that I don't want to, do what we were taught to do in the Bible and everything
Yeah.
like that. So, community, sometimes build your community and it brings you back. So, I definitely appreciate that everything that you said. Before we leave, can you tell everyone where to find you, where to connect with you, where to find information once the group is back? Because I want to join.
Yes. So first of all, thank you for this conversation. It was definitely needed, and it just kind of refueled me to go back into some of the things that I have laid down. But you can find me on Instagram at a dash of Michaela, and that is my website on the screen. That is where my books can be found. You can also find my women's community at RAWCove on Instagram. And also my children's books are on Instagram. And we're also on Facebook as well too, at Little Miss Peyton Stories. So definitely connect. And yeah, I'm very excited for the future and would love to connect with each of you.
And I want to also point out she has a really good TikTok. I find myself sharing a lot of your inspiration that you put out there. So is it a dash of Michaela on TikTok as well?
Yes.
Yes, I put her website. Let me actually copy so anyone watching later will be able to find you, connect with you, and make, just overall grow in whatever they are trying to do. It is not allowing me to do another line, but we're going to do this one here.
Always open to connecting, having conversations with people, and however I could be there for you all, just let me know.
Yes. And thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Everyone, if you're watching it live, make sure you have liked, commented, share with your people. This conversation is something that if it didn't benefit you, somebody else watching may benefit from. If you're watching this after the live, thank you for sitting with us and learning more about myself and Michaela. But you know where to find me. It's The Real Jubilee on Instagram and TikTok. Please, here on YouTube, Charity in Motion. Subscribe. We're trying to grow. I think I'm almost at 100 subscribers. I did get a new little toy. So
Oh,
more vlogs coming soon. I'm very excited. I have some talking head content that I am ready to push out as soon as my film is done. Also, update guys, in 2 weeks. I am traveling for work, but because of how good I did last year with metrics, my job rewarded me and a couple of other uh, co-workers to a trip, all expense paid, to Punta Cana, DR. So I am very excited for that. And it kind of shows that the work that I'm doing at my 9 to 5 is not in vain. People are noticing, you never know. And also just kind of doing what I'm supposed to do, even when you're getting discouraged by yourself or others, help. So you will get some content from me in Punta Cana soon. And just hope to continue to grow with you guys here on Charity in Motion. Please interact in the comments. I will comment back. And please share with your people. And please make sure you're following Michalea and all the wonderful things she has coming down the pipeline, as well as me. And we will talk to you later.
Bye.